Karup Air Base, Denmark's largest military installation, found itself at the centre of an unexpected security scare on Friday evening. According to Danish police, one, possibly two unidentified drones were observed hovering over the base for several hours. The incident has heightened national concern about aerial surveillance and potential hybrid threats at a time of increasing geopolitical tension in Europe. These scenes released by the Danish Defence Forces show routine activity at the base, an electric aircraft taking off and landing on the runway as part of regular operations. Yet against this familiar backdrop, the appearance of the drones signalled an alarming disruption. For a country known for its efficient air defence network, the presence of such unidentified flying devices over a critical facility was cause for deep unease. The incident at Karup was not isolated. In recent days, Denmark has reported several similar sightings of drones in sensitive areas, including Aalborg Airport in the north and locations close to the capital, Copenhagen. Some airports were forced to suspend operations temporarily, leading to flight delays and travel disruption. For many travellers and residents, these sightings raise new questions about the country's ability to secure its skies in a period of heightened international tension. Footage from Aalborg Airport taken by a passenger on a mobile phone earlier in the week shows a faint object moving against the night sky. Authorities grounded flights for several hours as security teams tried to establish whether it was a drone and whether it posed an immediate threat. These measures, though precautionary, underscored the seriousness with which Danish authorities now regard unexplained aerial activity. In Copenhagen, government officials held a series of press briefings to update the public. They urged calm while stressing that the incidents were being investigated thoroughly. The sightings have come at a moment when Europe, and Denmark in particular, is on alert for unconventional tactics, sometimes referred to as hybrid warfare, the use of tools such as drones, cyber attacks, and disinformation to undermine a country's stability without resorting to open armed conflict. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen addressed the issue directly in a nationally covered statement. She described the drone incursions as part of what she called hybrid attacks, attempts to unsettle the country and test its readiness. In her words, there is only one thing that counts now, and that is speed. Because the reality is, unfortunately, that we are behind. According to NATO, Russia produces more ammunition in 3 months than NATO does in an entire year. Her stark comment reflected not only Denmark's sense of urgency, but also a wider European concern about the pace of military and technological preparedness. This declaration resonated strongly with defence analysts, who point out that while drones are small and relatively inexpensive, their potential to gather intelligence or to interfere with air operations is significant. The Karup incident, they say, is a vivid example of how advanced technology in the hands of unknown actors can bypass traditional security lines. Investigators so far have not determined who was operating the drones. Danish police have stepped up patrols around military sites, and Air Force units have reviewed their surveillance procedures. Security experts emphasise that small drones are notoriously difficult to detect and track, especially at night or in poor weather conditions. Unlike conventional aircraft, drones have a minimal radar signature and can be controlled remotely from considerable distances. During the past week alone, at least 5 drone-related events were reported at sensitive Danish infrastructure, including military bases, commercial airports, and energy installations. Investigators are now examining radar data, eyewitness statements, and videos from both civilians and security cameras to piece together a clearer picture of the scale and source of the activity. For many observers, the incidents are part of a wider European pattern. Since 2022, several countries across the continent have reported increased drone incursions near critical infrastructure, from power stations and energy pipelines to air bases and government buildings. Specialists in hybrid warfare say that such incursions may serve as probes, testing the reactions of security forces and the resilience of civilian infrastructure. Karup Air Base itself is a central hub for Denmark's Air Force and plays an important role in NATO's northern defence network. It supports surveillance missions over the Baltic Sea and the Arctic routes, regions that have become more strategically contested in recent years. That makes the appearance of unidentified drones above Karup especially worrying for military planners. The technical challenge of drone detection is one reason governments are accelerating investments in counter-drone technologies. Denmark and several of its NATO partners are deploying new radar systems capable of spotting small aerial objects at low altitude, as well as signal jamming devices and portable anti-drone rifles. But experts caution that technology alone cannot fully solve the problem. Close coordination between civil aviation authorities, local police, and the military is equally essential. The economic and social disruption caused by the incidents is already evident. When airports had to suspend operations for several hours, thousands of passengers experienced delays and missed connections. For businesses and the travel sector, the events underscored the vulnerability of critical infrastructure to relatively simple, low-cost technologies. In Brussels, NATO officials expressed support for Denmark's investigation and reiterated the alliance's commitment to collective vigilance against unconventional threats. However, they stopped short of assigning blame, saying more evidence was needed before any conclusions could be drawn about who was behind the drone activity. Moscow, often suspected by Western governments of engaging in hybrid tactics in Europe, denied any involvement in the Danish incidents. A spokesperson for Russia's foreign ministry called the allegations unfounded and insisted that Denmark should present verifiable evidence rather than speculate. This exchange reflects the ongoing tension between Russia and NATO member states over covert tactics and security incidents in Northern Europe. Within Denmark, opposition politicians have pressed the government to accelerate its adoption of advanced detection systems and to communicate more openly with the public to prevent speculation and panic. Lawmakers have urged a review of national security protocols to ensure that military and civilian authorities can respond swiftly and in a coordinated manner. By Saturday morning, routine operations at Karup Air Base had resumed, but the sense of unease has not subsided. Many Danes are still asking who was behind the flights and what their intentions were. For residents living near the base, the idea that unknown devices could loiter above such a critical military installation is deeply unsettling. Security analysts warn that hybrid threats cannot be countered by military vigilance alone. They argue that governments must also strengthen cyber defences, improve intelligence sharing among allies, and raise public awareness so that citizens can help report suspicious activity. This comprehensive approach, they say, is the best defence against adversaries who may seek to exploit the seams between military and civilian spheres. While no direct harm was caused by the drones over Karup, the psychological impact has been significant. The sight of unidentified flying objects over an important military base, coupled with the temporary shutdown of airports, has demonstrated how even small-scale incursions can have broad security, political and economic consequences. As Denmark continues its investigation, officials stress that the country will not be intimidated by anonymous provocations. The government's message is that it will safeguard national sovereignty and adapt to emerging threats, whether they come from the skies, from cyberspace, or from disinformation campaigns. For NATO and the broader European community, the events in Denmark serve as a stark reminder that modern conflict often unfolds in subtle and ambiguous ways. The lines between peace and confrontation have blurred. Vigilance, preparedness, and rapid response have become as crucial as traditional forms of deterrence. The Karup incident, still under investigation, highlights both the promise and the peril of the drone age. It shows how accessible technology can be turned into a tool for disruption and how even nations with advanced defences must constantly adapt to new tactics. As investigators work to trace the origins of the drones, the incident underscores a broader truth. In today's interconnected world, national security extends far beyond borders and battlefields, reaching into the everyday lives of ordinary citizens. In the days ahead, Danish authorities are expected to release further findings as they sift through data from radar systems, eyewitness reports, and video analysis. International partners are likely to assist in the technical investigation. Until then, the questions remain open. Who sent the drones, what information they may have gathered, and what the ultimate purpose of these flights might have been. For Denmark and its allies, the episode has become a case study in the evolving nature of security threats, a reminder that the defence of the homeland now requires constant adaptation to an environment where the boundaries between civilian technology and potential military risk are increasingly blurred. The story of the drones over Karup is not merely an isolated incident. It is a warning of the challenges that lie ahead for every nation striving to keep its skies safe.